Welcome back to Springfield, Missouri for the 31st Annual National Christian Homeschool Basketball Championships. We are in the Evangel University Ashcroft Center. My name is Paul Gilmore alongside Scott Staten, bringing you yet another boys 18 and under pool game. This is Pool A, the Kansas City Metro Mavericks versus the MHEA Eagles, the top and #1 overall seed in the entire tournament.
Yeah, we saw them earlier this pool play today right here on this court, and boy, they look like they're ready to defend that title. Different cast of characters, some familiar faces, but still same old success.
It's the Mavericks who ends up winning the tip. They have first offensive possession. They're in the white uniforms with the red lettering and black numbers. Meanwhile, MHEA in their black uniforms with the blue numbering and lettering. Falling fadeaway baseline jumper is no good. That ball ends up in the hands of Moore, and now the Eagles have their first offensive possession.
Caleb Thomas will run things for this team, and boy, after losing the guards they did last year, he's really stepped right in.
That's Preston Santo with the steal. Corner three, no good. Rebound ripped down by Caleb Thomas.
Metro Academy out of Kansas City. Good program themselves. Girls were a powerhouse and actually had some players go on to play for Tennessee and some other Division I programs, and their guys trying to kind of match that now and making a name for themselves.
Moore was able to save the offensive rebound, but the pass was tipped away. And then we've got a blocking foul that's going to be called on Carson Guess.
Not sure what happened. The foul was on the other side of the court, but one of the Metro players near us just fell down.
There's a lot of bodies flying around.
These court monsters are everywhere. Love the atmosphere in this one. Both crowd bases are known for being loud. Pretty pass.
Yeah, great look. Wide open underneath was Nathaniel Farrell, and the Mavericks have an early 2-0 lead.
Farrell, the All-American, one of two for KC Metro.
Thomas will fire the three, no good.
Can't get it to go, and MHEA with a slow start right now.
A rare slow start. Offensive rebound and putback.
Yeah, they get the steal there, and then Thomas able to get the putback. Stayed right with it. Didn't just make the pass, but followed his teammate as he put up the shot and was able to get the offensive board. Easy 2 points.
Mavericks looking for any kind of opening, and that's going to be a traveling violation called.
Now take note here, this is going to sound crazy, but Andrew Thomas got the nice mop on top. That's the last time it's going to look like that. It will be soaking wet and look like he's been in a rainstorm by the second quarter. The guy gets out there, just works so hard.
Strong take with the right hand on the left side, Elijah Guess.
Guess saw his minutes limited this morning because MHEA just really had their way and didn't really need him to flex the muscles like he can, but boy, he is such a weapon for this MHEA team. Brings a lot of experience from their championships.
Nice jumper from Preston Santo. Up fake the defender, took one step in and knocked down the baseline jumper.
KC Metro not too impressed right now, at least not scared. They're going right at him. Oh, did you see the strength there? Thomas went down, he didn't lower his shoulder, but the defender just bounced right off of him. He muscles it in. KC working the outside, looking for those cuts. That one is a tough make by Caleb Sittler.
Yeah, Sittler's had a couple good looks tonight. And boy, they're staying step for step right now with the champs.
If he's knocking those down, it could be a long night. Do you get extra points if it bounces on the rim more than 3 times? Because that seemed like it just got every bit of paint that was up there.
Sittler, no good on the jumper, but he'll shoot 2.
Boy, I love the crew cut. Kind of a throwback. Sittler looks like he could have played in Hoosiers or something like that, but kind of a gritty player. Getting out there and keeping his team in this one, just trailing by 3 early on.
And I believe they called that foul on Carson Guess, which would give him 2 early fouls. But he stays in the game.
Well, that's one thing. MHEA's got a deep bench. You look over there, and they actually have more players than this morning. The reason why is this morning their 16U was playing, and so they couldn't play right, come over here and play in the 18U. But when they're both able to, they've got kids that can play on both teams. Boy, Vander to follow the shot there, came right back to him.
A tough post move from Andrew Thomas. Just so patient with his looks.
Yeah, the arsenal he has, he can shoot from outside, he can power you down low, he just always seems to be in the right place.
That 3-point attempt is up and nothing but net for Jacob Robinson. He gets on the board, and once again, it's neck and neck.
11-11, Kansas City Metro showing they aren't a team to be sniffed at. They're really looking good so far. Staying step for step with MHEA.
That corner 3-pointer is on the way, no good from Guess. Offensive rebound more, and that's shut down by Robinson, but not before the foul was whistled.
Yeah, Jacob Robinson, great job trying to block that, and you gotta like it too because it was an aggressive block, but he immediately made sure that the Eagle player was okay, tried to help him up. Seen a lot of good sportsmanship today.
First free throw is good for Moore. Checking in for Memphis is Sam Shoemaker.
Sam started this morning. They've got a lot of interchangeable pieces, and Coach Williams in his first year being the head coach has that luxury of being able to switch his lineup, and depending on what he wants to go with, can interchange several different parts.
2.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter of play. Just 1 point of separation as the Eagles lead by 1. That shot is going to be up, no good. And then we're going to have a foul as Jacob Robinson.
Yeah, that time, that was a tough one because he was battling for the board and had a shot at it and just came down a little wrong on Johnny Moore there. And I believe that's 2 quick ones on him. He's going to have to be careful.
And Cameron Mathis checks in for Memphis.
Mathis he's like a microwave. He's instant heat. He came in this morning and just drilled several threes. Just such a smooth shot. Again, another one of those weapons that MHEA is able to bring in whenever they need some points.
I've been impressed with the Maverick defense thus far. They've done a great job of staying in front of MHEA, and
yeah, they have.
Then on the other end, getting some nice open looks.
They're athletic. You can tell that they've got some athletes out there. They've got some length themselves, and they're able to cause some trouble for MHEA, even with all their experience and championship pedigree. The KC Metro is not backing down whatsoever with 1:46 to go. It's just a 1-point game.
And that was Hudson Spangenberg that just checked in for MHEA. 3-point attempt no good from Santo.
Spangenberg really gave him some good minutes this morning. He's got some speed, was able to get some breakaways, and feeds it down low to Thomas.
Yeah, whenever they have Thomas one-on-one, that's going to be a problem for pretty much any matchup that Mavericks have. They might need to consider bringing a double or figuring out another way to handle that particular matchup.
That 3 was online, but couldn't get it to drop.
Mathis working the right side dribble. Tries to flip it underneath to Thomas, no good. Thomas tips it up back to Mathis. He puts it up and in.
Boy, you had Shoemaker, Thomas, and Mathis, all three crashing the boards there, and they come away with the points.
Under a minute to play. And that's going to be a shuffling of the feet. Coming back the Eagles' way as they try to extend this lead right before the end of the period. It was 11-11. All of a sudden you look up and it's 5-point separation.
Yeah, MHEA now, you can tell the intensity level kind of ramped up on their defense on that trip. Caused some trouble for KC Metro and forced a turnover. And let's see if they can turn it back into points. They're so good at getting points off of turnovers and not coming away with empty trips.
Entry pass down low to Thomas is taken away on the backside. That time it was Josh Fletcher. Final 10 seconds to play. That three-point attempt is going to be up and too strong. Rebound corralled by Thomas. Pass, cross-court pass stolen away, and there won't be a final shot attempt, and that's how we're going to end the first period of play with the Memphis Eagles leading the KC Metro Mavericks 16-11. Short intermission, and we'll be back right after this.
When my body needs relief, I real-time it. I'd like to introduce you to my knockout pain formula, real-time pain relief. Its soothing lotion is rich in nature's ingredients and helps me manage discomfort day or night. And it smells great too. From muscle strains to soreness to simple back aches and arthritis. Real-time it and knock out your pain. It works for me and it will work for you. Real-time pain relief, it's a knockout.
Back for second quarter action in this boys 18 and under pool play between the Kansas City Metro Mavericks and the MHEA Eagles. And Scott, we were noting during the break that the Eagle has landed.
Yes, it has.
Actually, several of them are in the building.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to wait for the temperatures to get a little better. I think they don't like the cold temps. But, yeah, the Eagle mascot is in the building. And, boy, he's the only Eagle fan that wasn't here. Man, they have been packing it out since before this game even started. And KC Metro with a good showing as well. But I don't see a Maverick over there.
Well, and there's the microwave you were mentioning earlier. Cameron Mathis knocks down the triple.
Yeah, just a smooth jump shot. He connected on several this morning.
And now the Mavericks need an answer in the worst way. That's flipped up and in by Farrell.
Yeah, they needed that. As you said, shot was a little short, but he had enough spin on the ball to get it over the front of that rim. And actually, I stand corrected. There is a Maverick over there on the other side. Not a full Maverick, but a Maverick head on a human body.
That three-pointer is too strong from Fletcher. Great find from Thomas to Spangenberg.
Yeah, Caleb Thomas has the ability to put it into fifth gear, but still be under control. And that time, kept his eyes up, down to cutting Spangenberg, and was able to turn that into points.
And unfortunately, it doesn't look like the same kind of quality of shots that KC had early on.
Yeah, it starts to wear down on you, though. This MHEA team is just so loaded. Bringing in fresh legs, and there's Shoemaker on the putback. Well,
you look up, and it's a 10-point game, and just like that, MHEA leads 23-13. Blink and it happens in a blur.
Yeah, it does. And that's where the bench, they're so deep, and they bring in so much experience. We've seen this crew grow up. I remember a few years ago covering the 14U. They were 14U players, and you had kids that were on 14U that won a gold ball and a national championship, and then they'd move up and they'd play in the 16U, and they'd still be on the bench for the 18U. So by the time they actually were on the 18U team, those guys had won multiple championships. They had experience playing on the 18U team when they were young. And so these guys it's a feeder system. They've got a great program set up there. They all seem to learn how to shoot the ball, and that experience just pays off. And wow, when you're a coach and you're playing in pool play, you got multiple games in a span of 24 hours, man, that's the kind of bench you want. And you're not just getting minutes, you're getting quality minutes, and you know that they can score, they can rebound, they can defend. And MHEA, I mean, you just like that, like you said, blink of an eye, game can change.
And we had an inbounding violation on Farrell. So unfortunately, right out of the timeout, certainly not what you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that what's happening now is it's starting to get to him. Metro really came out well in that first quarter, but MHEA just wearing them down right now. Lead's just 10, though. They can't panic. Got to settle back down, get some good defensive stops, and find your opportunities to score. You will have to score against this team because they're going to score.
And they're going to rebound and defend well, so
yeah,
you better be on top of it.
That 3-1-1 press really starting to bother KC Metro.
Now KC Metro looking for an answer. Top of the key, three-pointer. And that's a big one.
Yeah,
that's in for Cameron Gardner.
Got to have that. And like I said, the game is not getting away from them. They just had really kind of hit that spell where they couldn't put the ball in the bucket.
Meanwhile, Andrew Thomas knocks in another triple of his own.
That's what they do. They answer you.
That three-pointer on the way. No good from Sittler.
Spangenberg just once again, as he did this morning, giving him great minutes off the bench. No drop off in quality there when he comes in. Thomas is relentless. You can tell when he goes up with the shot, if he doesn't make it, you are going to have to fight him to get that rebound because he's going to not stop until he gets the ball through the hoop, or you rip it away from him one. And lead though, still just 10, Paul. It's still a game. KC Metro going to have to kind of withstand this barrage and be able to get some stops and get back on the board themselves.
And MHEA has done this for the past several years. I feel like they've done this thing where they have these margins that they create, and it's small, it's seemingly small margins, but by the time you look up again in the fourth quarter, you'll see these 15, 20 point leads.
Yeah.
And they did that at the Big South Regional too, where there were several games where they had, second, third quarter, it was a game. Right. And then you look up in the fourth quarter and it's a 17 or 25 point blowout. And part of you wonders, like, well, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it's like you mentioned, they just wear teams down.
They do. They're kind of like the basketball version of erosion. It's just that constant drip where it's a 1 point lead, a 3 point lead, a 10 point lead, and then you look up and it's a 20 point lead because they just are constant. They don't always wow you, but they're just constant.
So Eagles have the ball coming in from the timeout. Inside, outside game that time, no good, but ball was tipped ultimately to Thomas, who kept the dribble from the floor.
Talk about being an athlete there. As he fell to the floor, he kept his dribble.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Oh, you as well. That was a great stop.
Thank you.
protecting me there. I appreciate that.
You know, once again, trying to protect the equipment here. It's
That's right.
brand new, so want to make sure that we keep good stewardship of this stuff.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, can erosion be a mascot? I don't really know what you do with that, but I feel like it just really kind of sums up what this team is like in this program. It's just a constant, steady attack that you don't realize the damage it's doing until it's too late.
So perhaps a petition to change the name from the Memphis Eagles to the Memphis Eroders?
I would approve that. I'm not sure that, Memphis would.
Is that just a rock? Like
that's wearing down?
A picture of the Grand Canyon? I'm a little confused about that, but I love the idea.
I mean, they're right on the Mississippi River. I don't know, somehow maybe you could tie that in. I'm not sure.
Mavericks working the ball on the offensive side. Nice high post game that they've been able to get the ball to, just haven't been able to quite capitalize on a lot of the looks that they've had until that nice take by Cameron Gardner.
Yeah, Gardner, he did a good job staying with that. He could have lost the ball, but he kept his composure and was able to gather it back in and get the bucket.
And that's going to be a foul. I'm not sure if they're going to give him the shot or not, but I believe the foul was called on Sittler, and that's his first. It does look like they gave him shooting 2.
Guess back in the game, and he'll get the free throws and doesn't hit that one. Shoemaker going out, boy, he gave him some good minutes. Very active on the boards. Even when he couldn't get the rebound, there were some times that he was in there and keeping the ball alive for his teammates to get it.
Guess connects on the second. That ball's ripped and stolen away by Mathis.
Yeah, his speed. Casey Medra didn't see him coming from behind. He was behind the play, but right in the blind spot. Able to run up and tip the ball away.
Baseline drive is going to be blocked from behind, but Moore recovers his own block shot. And then Thomas with a couple of offensive putbacks, and he lays it up and in.
Relentless erosion, I'm telling you.
They do not stop. They haven't stopped pressing either.
Yeah, and Casey's been able to get past it, but then they, at the other end, haven't been able to do anything with it.
Thomas somehow kept the dribble between two defenders. 2.5 minutes to go in the half.
I bet that's a fun to watch. Assistant coach Jordan Thomas, he's got Caleb and Andrew. I bet those two have some fun one-on-one games at home.
Oh, nice spin move from Thomas.
Oh,
wow.
What a touch, too. Big guy with the spin move, but he's able to just put that soft touch and drop it in.
He's got 16 early first half points. Meanwhile, on the other end, Robinson unable to finish.
That leads up to 13 now, starting to get dangerous.
Guess drives all the way.
Wow. Strong drive.
That three-point attempt is up and needed in a bad way. It was Cameron Gardner, his second triple of the half.
Yeah, he's done that a couple times. He's trying to keep his team in the game, but they got to give him some help. It can't just be Gardner shooting threes and hitting a three after they've given up 2 or 3 two-pointers.
And that's going to be a backcourt violation. I guess Thomas could pick it up either way. It was either going to be their possession or backcourt, no matter whether he picked it up or not.
Yeah, it looked like he was behind the play anyway, fixing his shoe. And I think as Mathis was waiting for that, he ended up losing the ball and caused a turnover.
Mavericks doing a great job of keeping their offensive movement. They haven't stopped moving on the offensive end. And on the drive, might have been contested by Guess.
Yeah, it was.
Don't know if he touched it or not, but he certainly altered the shot.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he got his hand on the ball. And again, that's a guard down low blocking shots. I mean, this team is loaded.
That time the ball is tipped away, but it's going to stay with the Eagles as part of the score table came apart.
It happens. That table's probably taken a whole lot of beatings. I've seen coaches hit those things and players dive into them, and you know, they have feelings too, I guess.
Thomas on the drive, another move to create some space that...
Oh, Mathis almost got another steal. Yeah, what do you do if you're Robinson there? I mean, he's got good defensive position, and Thomas is not lowering his shoulder. He's just strong, and he's driving in there, and Robinson just can't stop him.
If anything, I think Robinson's defense would be the fact that there's a little bit of an arm extension from Thomas.
Sure.
I'm surprised the ref didn't call one of those. There's been about 2 plays like that tonight.
Yeah, I think that they feel like he's just using his overall strength, and his body's just too much for Robinson to be able to stop. But yeah, you'd want to set your feet too. He's also moving his feet, which it's hard to call a charge on that.
That three-pointer is no good. Rebound comes to Guess. And that's going to do it for the first half of play. After 16 minutes, the MHEA Eagles lead 35-21 over the KC Metro Mavericks. Second half action and more back after this.
When my body needs relief, I real-time it. I'd like to introduce you to my knockout pain formula, real-time pain relief. Its soothing lotion is rich in nature's ingredients and helps me manage discomfort day or night. And it smells great too. From muscle strains to soreness to simple back aches and arthritis. Real-time it and knock out your pain. It works for me and it will work for you. Real-time pain relief, it's a knockout.
Welcome back to Springfield, Missouri for the 31st Annual National Christian Homeschool Basketball Championships. We are here in the Evangel University Ashcroft Center. My name is Paul Gilmore alongside Scott Staten, bringing you the second half action of this boys 18 and under Division I Pool A game between MHEA and KC Metro Mavericks.
KC came out really strong. That first quarter was pretty evenly matched, but as we've talked about, MHEA really started to wear down on the Mavericks, and they're going to try to continue to do that.
Somehow Caleb Thomas ended up with the rebound. Guess with an acrobatic finish.
Yeah, you can't plan that, but he sure put that in, and that was, like you said, just an acrobatic, athletic move by Elijah Guess.
That one was through the hands of Gardner.
Unforced turnovers, man, and when you're trying to come back, you can't have those.
And now on the drive, a little too strong. As a bunch of bodies hit the floor.
Carson Guess, another strong drive. We've seen just very aggressive drives by MHEA in this game. They are going to the bucket with purpose.
That three-point attempt is on the way and good from deep. Was Gardner, who looks like he might have turned his ankle a little bit on the landing.
I think he might have come down on the defender's foot. He looked like he's sprained his ankle just a tad, but we've seen the outside shot falling for KC Metro, but they just haven't been able to add anything to it.
That ball ends up in the hands of Thomas, who puts it up and in.
Once again, that lead just starts to grow. They hit a couple shots, and MHEA just has that slow, steady attack. And having somebody like Cameron Thomas down low, or Andrew Thomas down low, rather, really, really makes a difference. When you're trying to battle back and you've got to deal with all those weapons, you can't have mistakes. You know pretty much you got to play your best game to have a shot. Lead is up to 16 again.
And that time the ball is just stolen away by Thomas, and he's going to lay it up and in. That now gives him 21 points on the game, and we're still early in the third quarter.
Looked like he was thinking about, do I try to dunk this? And I think he's thinking, this is my second game of the day. I'm tired. I'll just take the layup.
That three-pointer is no good. Rebound comes to Thomas. Now Caleb Thomas coming the other way, cross-court pass to Guess. He drives, lays it off to Moore. Thomas for three. Wow.
Inside, outside.
Andrew Thomas has now equaled the entire offensive output of the KC Metro Mavs before that layup.
And that's a drive. You got to see a little more of that from KC Metro. They've got to be able. You can't just rely on your outside shot.
That ball was completely swallowed.
Yes, it was.
By Farrell. I don't think Thomas was expecting the backside help.
Yeah. Love the hustle. You play like the score doesn't matter, and you just keep going, and hopefully things start to turn in your favor.
Isn't that the name of the G League team in Memphis? Aren't they the Hustle?
I don't know, but if it would be perfect name.
We've been seeing a lot of Memphis Hustle today.
We have, absolutely. I don't know, there's so many new teams, Paul. I was driving down here through St. Louis, and I saw these people wearing Battlehawks stuff, and I finally asked a guy, I said, what's the Battlehawks? He goes, oh, that's our XFL team. And I was like, I guess I need to catch up with the times. I had no idea.
The only reason I know that is because Houston has an XFL team called the Roughnecks. And they are undefeated in the entirety of their existence.
Oh, that's unreal.
Which, to be fair, is a season plus.
But that's, hey, we'll take it, right?
Undefeated.
Undefeated's undefeated. I don't care what you play.
Speaking of undefeated, I don't know the last time MHEA lost to a homeschool team. That ball was tipped and knocked out. Good defense by Guess to knock it off of Sittler and go back the way of the Eagles.
Yeah, I think you're right about losing homeschool. I think the record officially, at least according to Max Preps, is like 22-15, which you might think, oh, if you just see the numbers, but you got to realize they're playing top-notch schools in the Tennessee area, plus the top homeschool teams.
That three-pointer is good by Caleb Thomas. Well, when you think about it, they're back-to-back defending national champions, which means they haven't lost at the last two nationals.
Yep.
I don't think they've lost at the regional level.
Yep.
So they've got a pretty spotless record against homeschool the last couple of years.
Yeah, we'll have to check on that because I do think you're right. We might be looking at a 3-year run without a loss to a homeschool team. Now, there may have been a regular season game or something, but just off the top of my head, I think you're right.
And this is going to be Cameron Gardner at the line to shoot 2.
All right, without looking at the scoreboard, Paul, what do you think the score is? How big is the lead?
I'm going to say 15.
No.
Wow, 21.
Over 20. That's
wow.
what I mean. Like it's one of those things where I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, it's probably like a 13, 14, 15-point lead, and then it's like, oh wait, it's 20-something. Right? How does that happen?
Erosion.
That has to be so yes, yes. See, we tie in science. We tie it all in here. We do it all.
It's a very educational program.
That's right. Now, Thomas again.
I was going to say, speaking of education, Thomas is taking some people to school tonight.
Oh, I love it. Great segue there. And what did I tell you about the hair?
You did warn me about the hair.
It's like he went in and got a shower at halftime.
Wow, great looking shot from Gardner. That's his 4th triple of the game. He's been on fire for KC Metro.
He has. He's been a bright spot for them, but they got to get some help for him, or this thing's going to get out of hand real quick. KC Metro, they've got some weapons themselves, and like I said, we've seen really good outside shooters. Not just one, but several. But they just are having trouble attacking on the inside. Really doesn't have had much of an inside game at all, and there you go. We've seen a couple of those now this quarter. You got to do that to keep them honest. If you just stay outside and shoot the whole time, that's going to be playing right into their hand.
And you also think about it from the perspective of reviewing this game through the lens of them playing the #1 overall seed that probably hasn't lost to a homeschool team in 3 years.
Yeah.
Just a full powerhouse.
Right.
So the vision that we see of them, this version, is probably not the version that we would see against most teams.
Right.
And so we look up and we say, oh, it's a 17, 20-point game.
Right.
And you see a lot of flaws and you see turnovers and
Sure.
missed opportunities on offense. But a lot of that has to do with the credit to MHEA and what they force teams to do.
Yeah.
They want you to be really uncomfortable.
Absolutely, and they do. That's what I mean about, like, when I talk about the erosion, it's not even just the points. It's almost like you don't realize how good they are defensively because, especially in the past, what you always see and hear about is their scoring, the shooting, all of those things. But man, they're solid on defense, and they've got length, they've got speed. You know, how many times have we seen one of the MHEA players, they get beat on the first move, but then they recover and come back and get a back tip, or they get a block, or they get something like that. And so, yeah, it definitely alters your game, and it's deceptive in how they do it.
And I can assure you that anyone that's been down in the paint is going to be feeling it tomorrow, having to match up against Thomas.
Oh, yeah. You can feel it over here. When he drives, and especially a couple times for Robinson, he's been right there, but just such a big, strong guy.
On the drive and lost the handle was Aiden Kent.
Yep. And that was again another player, Johnny Moore, just playing good defense. You know, yet there's so many names that you call out when you see who's making plays for this team, and you can see why they make the runs that they do in these tournaments.
Wow.
Oh, the one was that the Dirk?
That I was just about to say. He pulls another weapon out of his arsenal, a Dirk Nowitzki falling fadeaway.
Yes. And you got to hope that he has the appreciation of Dirk to know that that's what he was doing.
Meanwhile, Gardner's garnering some appreciation of his own.
Yeah. Cameron Gardner, he's a player. He was voted as an All-American, and you can see why. He's got a game. Really good shot. A couple times they've been able to get some drives down there. That time, Thomas, the big guy, out guarding the perimeter, almost comes away with the steal, but instead gets the foul. We need a mop crew. These guys that sweat so much can't dive. We got to hire new people for that. You know, that's we appreciate the effort, but
we do have the push mops behind each stanchion.
Yeah, I think we need towels. all that stuff. Well, MHEA's crowd, they are all over here, and they really haven't had to get too loud. You got to wonder if maybe they're saving a little for the girls' game coming up after this one. Oh, what a block by Guess.
In the corner, back out top to Mathis on the drive. Acrobatic just off the front of the rim.
Oh,
Thomas corrals the rebound with a little bit of a tip drill.
He went into another gear, didn't he, when he went down the lane? And there's Guess. Oh, the dish by Shoemaker.
That time the long ball pass to Sittler was thrown off of the legs of Thomas.
So I haven't seen what KC Metro did in their earlier game, but you got to feel like that they've, like you said, against other teams, and even they looked good early on here against MHEA, but you got to think that they've still got, their hopes and possibilities of being able to move on in this tournament because they've got weapons. We've seen Gardner hitting some shots. We've seen Robinson. You got your point guard. You got Santo. You got Nathaniel Farrell. A couple of All-Americans. They've got a team. They've got a roster. Caleb Sittler battling again down low. He's been very active today.
We're approaching a minute to play here in the third quarter. 19-point lead for MHEA. They have the ball.
Each team will have another game tomorrow. Of course, MHEA is going to have a stranglehold on moving on if they win this one, which they're well on their way to doing that. Although Metro's going to say, we still got a quarter, sir, and we're going to do our best to try to pull this one out.
On the drive, no good, was Farrell. And there's going to be a foul called, I believe, on Spangenberg.
That's the one thing, Paul, I wish that we could have seen. If KC Metro, they've had isolated incidents where Farrell will drive and get a bucket, where you'll get an outside shot from Gardner or Robinson, but they haven't been able to piece together some sequences where they're going inside, outside. It's pretty much seemed like it's been one-dimensional. They're either attack down low or they just shoot outside, but they're not mixing it up. And maybe if they could do that, they might find themselves getting some more open looks.
So just 35 seconds left to go in the third quarter. They work the ball back inside to Thomas, who spins and lays it up and in.
Yeah, he's putting on a show tonight.
He's now up to 30.
That time, I think Thomas did get the block, but I believe Mathis got the body.
I think you're right. And unfortunately for Sittler, he's taken a couple of shots like that.
Yeah.
Some of them on clean blocks, but some of them just unfortunate hits.
Can't get that one to go. KC Metro will have a chance to win again tomorrow. Still got a chance tonight, but they've got to come up with some stops somehow, some way.
And the Eagles will likely hold for the final possession. That shot no good, and that's going to do it. After 3 quarters of play, the Memphis Eagles lead 56-38 over the Kansas City Metro Mavericks. Final 8 minutes to go after this brief intermission.
When my body needs relief, I real-time it. I'd like to introduce you to my knockout pain formula. Real-time pain relief. Its soothing lotion is rich in nature's ingredients and helps me manage discomfort day or night. And it smells great too. From muscle strains to soreness to simple back aches and arthritis. Real-time it and knock out your pain. It works for me and it will work for you. Real-time pain relief. It's a knockout.
Welcome back to the fourth and final quarter of action in this boys 18 and under pool play game of Pool A between the Memphis Eagles and the KC Metro Mavericks. Once again, Paul Gilmore alongside Scott Staten for the final 8 minutes in what has been a competitive game, but score-wise, it's been all Eagles for the most part. The Mavericks need more cuts like that from Cameron Gardner.
Yeah, we've seen his outside shot, but now between Gardner and Farrell, they've had a couple of straight possessions there where they've been able to get down low and put the ball in.
That time the floater is up and good from Hudson Spangenberg.
Again, Spangenberg comes off the bench, but he's a starter caliber.
Mavericks kind of firing up a little bit more quickly now as that three-pointer from Farrell is no good. Quickly back the other way is Memphis. They work it inside. Shoemaker out to Caleb Thomas for three, and that's nothing but net.
Yep, he's got a jumper as well. He's kind of runs the show for them, but you leave him open in those corners. He loves that shot. Saw him drop a few today, and earlier games did it just there.
On the drive, floater no good off the backboard. Caleb Thomas with the rebound. He quickly comes the other way. In the far corner to Spangenberg, but a little bit too far as he stepped on the line.
KC Metro, it's a 21-point game, 6:30 to go. You're not at the point now where you're just like, well, let's just try to get some good flow to our game and carry this over tomorrow. You've still got a shot, and you've seen that you can connect on outside jumpers, but I'd really love to see them kind of mix in the drives and maybe kick it out. MHEA is so good at that. They'll drive into the paint, but then kick it out to the open three. And wow, there's another good one by Robinson. He's been able to connect on some three-pointers as well.
He hit one early on. That's the first one he's had since the first quarter, but they're going to need a lot more like that and a lot less Andrew Thomas.
And they get a stop now. Can they put a sequence together? That's what we got to see. Put a couple of scoring trips down and get a stop, but then once again, the MHEA able to keep them off the board and limit them to one shot.
Caleb Thomas, stop and pop jumper from the free throw line, extends the lead back to 20.
Such a good point guard. He can give you points when you need it, but he can also just run the show, and he's an unselfish enough player that he doesn't, he knows his points can come, but he doesn't have to have them. He's content to just get the ball around to the right people, and of course he might get a little pressure from Big Brother at home. I don't know. If he doesn't get the ball enough, I'm sure that he hears about it.
We've got a quick timeout here on the floor. We'll keep it here. I want to give you a programming update for those of you that were tuning in for the alleged 8:30 game between the MHEA Eagles girls team and the HEA Firebirds out of Michigan. We'll have that game coming up shortly after this one is over. Again, we're approximately about an hour behind schedule, so we're hoping to get you that game at the latest with a 9:30 start time, but we want to make sure that we provide the quality content that you're looking for. So we've got about 5.5 minutes left in this boys game before we provide you the final game of our nightcap, which is going to be Girls 18U Division I Pool B between MHEA and HEA Firebirds. So a lot of HEAs in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Firebirds kind of a, I don't want to say surprise, but they're kind of in new territory here, coming out with a Midwest Region Championship. Of course, MHEA for years was a powerhouse, and they bounced around, and for a while they were involved with the Midwest and would come out with that title. You had other teams like the Blazers and Wildcats, NCC out of Nashville, but MHEA down in the Big South got fourth place, but that is such a tough region, and they had a win earlier in their pool play.
That falling fadeaway, no good from Thomas. Mavericks come the other way. That three-pointer is on the way, and nothing but net for Aiden Kent, his first basket.
And that's what the fourth player that's gotten a three for KC Metro. They've got shooters. They've just got to put some sequences together with some stops.
There's one there. We'll see if they can capitalize on it.
Oh almost a turnover. Able to get it back. That lane is open. If somebody will drive. Oh, in and out. That was halfway down.
Shot no good from Cameron Gardner. Mathis baseline jumper, no good. Rebound saved, but directly to Thomas, who looks inside for Shoemaker. That was off the hands of Andrew Thomas before Shoemaker corrals the rebound and puts it back up and in.
How many times have we seen that from MHEA? They do not give up. When they get the ball down low, they put the shot up, but they follow their shot. And for young players, you got to follow your shot. So many times that second shot's actually easier than the first one.
Mathis baseline drive, kicks it back out, receives it back in the corner for three, no good.
Probably like him to see that, move that ball back around rather than take that shot at that point.
That time the three-pointer is wide open, can't connect again as Gardner.
Yeah, almost too open.
A rare wide open three-pointer for KC Metro, and unfortunately they cannot connect.
Yeah. They've definitely hit some tougher ones than that tonight.
That time Thomas couldn't connect.
A little too strong.
Three-pointer this time up and short.
That's hard to make. When you land flat on your feet and then you just try to gather yourself and go straight up.
Also seems like there's been a lot of back and forth sequences without any stoppage of play. These players are starting to look a little bit gassed.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
MHEA certainly slowing it down.
2:41 to go.
And we've got a rolling timeout call just for substitutions. It looks like about 3 different Eagles are checking in. Meanwhile, Sittler's coming back in for KC Metro.
And if you're coaching MHEA, Jason Williams, or eyes on a bigger prize, had to leave your starters in there a little longer because every time you felt like you got comfortable, KC Metro would sink a couple outside shots. But able now to make some substitutions with just 2.5 to go.
Yeah, it looked like for Coach Sullivan, he was a little bit confused by the rolling not confused maybe, but
yeah,
he was looking for an actual timeout.
Right.
And so once the ref realized that this was a rolling substitution timeout,
yeah,
he called his own timeout and said, let me talk to my guys, let them catch their breath.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it looked like he was, the official was under the impression that that's what they both wanted, and the MHEA coaching staff was like, well, no, hang on, we actually want to talk. So they're able to correct that. Boy, the officiating crews, and I know I get teased that I say this every year, but like they've just been solid today. I like the way that they've allowed the kids to play. It's been physical, but it's not been in a way that altered shots or changed outcomes. And like, you got to like that, because too many times, especially in today's culture, it just seems like you can see officiating sometimes, especially on professional levels, kind of get in the way of the game, and they're letting them play, and it's just been a really good first day for that.
And I also feel too that they've done a great job. We're not over at the score table officially, we're across the court from them.
Yeah.
But I feel every time I look up, they're doing a great job explaining things to the coaches, to the score table, and the people on the other side.
Yep, and we've seen a lot of these faces. These guys have been at these tournaments for a while, and good to see them back in action and doing well.
On the drive, left a little bit short. Moore comes up with the rebound. Shoemaker, shot denied, was guess.
Aiden Kent that time on the block, and KC Metro's had a couple of good block shots tonight, but not enough to really stop this attack by the Eagles.
Shoemaker working it inside, ends up with Moore. Back inside Shoemaker, working down low. Good ball movement from the Eagles. Working a little triangle game.
Yeah, looks like they're just trying to wait until they get the shot they want, maybe eat a little bit of clock.
And that's going to go back to the Mavericks with just 1 minute and 24 seconds left.
Good hustle again by Sittler.
That three-pointer is deep. No good. Coming back the other way with Spangenberg. Moore is going to fire up a shot. That's no good. Up ahead. Up and in is Robinson. Under a minute to go, and I would be surprised if the Eagles take another shot.
Yeah, you get the sense that MHEA was kind of keeping them at arm's length, but also that KC Metro was really just a run or two away from keeping this where it was more of a game. They just could not get over being able to.
Checking in for KC is Josh Fletcher. Also checking in is Brody Prudy. Far side kick on the drive. The shot is up and no good from Guess. That three-point attempt is going to be short. Saved by KC, but into the hands of the Eagles. And with just 20 seconds left, it's going to be Elijah Guess with the ball. And it's going to be a jump ball. Going back to the Eagles.
You got to think both teams are going to come out of this with some positives. KC Metro sees that they played best team most likely in this tourney. And were able to stick with them for a little while. And also, boy, if they could have just put together a few of those possessions, they got to feel like they had a shot at being able to compete in this one. And if you're MHEA, you like the fact that you didn't have a letdown. You won earlier in the day, and you came in tonight. It was your second game of the night early on in this tournament. Sometimes you can have a mental letdown, and boy, they didn't let up at all, showing themselves to have the medal of a champion.
And that's going to be the final score of our game. MHEA wins 65-48 over KC Metro Mavericks. Again, coming up next, we have girls 18 and under action, MHEA versus HEA Firebirds. That will be right after this brief intermission and warm-up. We want to thank you for joining us on this broadcast. On behalf of Scott Staten, my name is Paul Gilmore, and we'll see you for the next game.